Do you dream of fairies and princesses? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and welcome to the House of Mouse headlines for the week of July 12th, 2020, brought to you by LaughingPlace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. In this week's news, Walt Disney World begins its reopening, a big new development partnership for Disney, a potential Wonder Years reboot, and more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
After halting new ticket sales earlier this year, the Walt Disney World Resort is now once again selling theme park tickets for the rest of 2020. Additionally, new resort hotel reservations can also be made. However, guests are encouraged to check park pass availability for their desired dates before booking, as these will be necessary to gain admission. Then, after purchasing your tickets, you'll be able to make your Park Pass reservations. For those looking to visit sometime in the new year, as previously announced, 2021 dates through September 26th are also now bookable as well. I booked my tickets and park reservations for this upcoming October, and I'm happy to say that it was a fairly painless process. Along with resuming new ticket sales, Walt Disney World has also reopened resort dining reservations for select locations. Now guests can take advantage of the 60-day booking window to reserve their spot at restaurants in the parks, at Disney Springs, and at select table service dining in Disney Resort hotels. Keep in mind that guests wishing to make in-park dining reservations will need to have a confirmed Park Pass reservation as well. When you arrive for your meal, Disney is encouraging guests to utilize the mobile check-in feature found in the My Disney Experience app. For more details and to book your reservations, be sure to visit the Walt Disney World website. Although Disney's popular Magical Express service for guests arriving and departing from Orlando International Airport will continue to operate when the parks reopen, there will be some modifications made in the name of safety. Beginning July 16th, 2020, luggage delivery service will not be provided for those arriving to and departing from MCO. Instead, guests who choose to use Magical Express will be responsible for picking up any of their checked luggage from the airport's baggage claim area themselves and taking it to the motor coach so that it can be loaded for transport to their Disney Resort hotel. However, luggage assistance will be available at the front of Walt Disney World Resort hotels, including luggage storage and transport to the room. Similarly, upon departure, guests will need to bring their luggage with them to be loaded onto the motor coach and retrieved upon arrival at the airport, as resort airline check-in service will not be offered at this time. Although this is a necessary change for safety reasons, I must admit that I will miss the super convenience of not needing to worry about my luggage at the airport. Speaking of changes, with 2 Walt Disney World parks now open, Disney is sharing some information about the new character experiences that will occur in lieu of traditional entertainment or meet and greets. Each day, at each park, guests will be able to see Disney princesses, Mickey and Friends, live entertainers, Star Wars characters, Pixar pals, and more through special encounters and cavalcades. At Magic Kingdom, these include the Royal Princess Processional and the Mickey and Friends Cavalcade, in addition to Cinderella's evil stepsisters interacting with guests from afar while they're perched on a balcony of Cinderella Castle. Over at Disney's Animal Kingdom, guests may catch their favorite characters and entertainers passing by as they set sail on the park's waterways. Additionally, those traveling Epcot's World Showcase might spot Mickey and Friends as well as Anna and Elsa waving to guests, while Disney's Hollywood Studios will feature both a Pixar Pals and Disney Junior Stars motorcade throughout the day. Of course, those visiting Batuu might also recognize some familiar faces. So while you won't be able to get too close to your favorite characters on your next Disney Parks visit, rest assured they'll still be around to say hello. Those who are hoping to participate in this fall's edition of the Disney College program received some sad news this week. Due to the ongoing pandemic, Disney has made the difficult decision to discontinue the program until further notice. Students who have already accepted offers will have their program fees refunded. Additionally, Disney will be amending their eligibility requirements so that those students who recently graduated will be able to reapply when the program does eventually resume. Here's hoping that will be able to happen sooner rather than later and as safely as possible. Turning to movie news, Disney may have found its next live-action villain. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Jude Law is in talks to sail the waters of Neverland as the villainous Captain Hook in the studio's project Peter, Pan, and Wendy. The film is set to be helmed by David Lowery, who also directed 2016's Pete's Dragon, and will reportedly star Everett Anderson as Wendy and Alexander Milani as Peter Pan. As for Law, he previously appeared in Marvel's Captain Marvel, playing the role of Jan Rog. Peter Pan and Wendy is just the latest film Disney is developing with ties to one of their animated classics, with Mulan due out next month, Cruella starring Emma Stone currently slated for May 2021, and The Little Mermaid featuring Halle Bailey as Ariel swimming to theaters at a still unspecified date in the future. This week, the Walt Disney Company announced that it has signed an overall first-look deal with Colin Kaepernick's production arm, Raw Vision Media. If you're not familiar, Kaepernick is a former NFL quarterback who courted controversy when he began taking a knee during the national anthem in order to protest police brutality. This new agreement between Kaepernick and Disney will focus on telling scripted and unscripted stories that explore race, social injustice, and the quest for equality. It will also provide a new platform to showcase the work of Black and brown directors and producers. Plus, Disney notes that the partnership will extend to all Walt Disney Company platforms, with them specifically mentioning Walt Disney Television, ESPN, Hulu, Pixar, and The Undefeated. The first project in development as part of this deal is an exclusive docuseries chronicling Kaepernick's journey. It will feature extensive new interviews and a never-before-seen archive that explores the last 5 years of his life. In a statement, Disney Executive Chairman Bob Iger said of the groundbreaking partnership, quote, "During this unprecedented time, the Walt Disney Company remains committed to creating diverse and inclusive content that resonates and matters. Colin's experience gives him a unique perspective on the intersection of sports, culture, and race, which will undoubtedly create compelling stories that will educate, enlighten, and entertain, and we look forward to working with him on this important collaboration." End quote. I would like to note that I find it very interesting that most of the quotes from the company we're getting these days are still from Bob Iger and not the new CEO. Interesting. In TV news, the beloved dramedy The Wonder Years could soon be returning to ABC, but in a new way. TV Line is reporting that ABC is working with Lee Daniels on a reboot of the series, this time focusing on a middle-class black family living in Montgomery, Alabama during the late 1960s. Currently, the project's pilot is set to be directed by Fred Savage, who starred as Kevin Arnold on the original program. Savage will also serve as executive producer along with Daniels and Saladin K. Patterson. The Wonder Years first ran on ABC from 1988 until 1993 and is currently available to stream on Hulu. As expected, it seems that Hamilton's arrival on Disney Plus made quite a splash. Although we don't have actual subscriber data to see how many new users signed up for the service, data from two app firms, Sensor Tower and Apptopia, show a significant rise in app downloads for the platform. Sensor Tower says uploads were up 64% for June 29th to July 5th compared to the prior week, while Apptopia noted a 72% rise compared to the weekend average of the past month. Considering that Disney Plus recently did away with their free trial, this increase in interest could amount to serious cash for Disney, helping them offset the reported $75 million they paid to acquire the film. And while Disney should update their subscriber numbers when they announce their earnings next month, with the third fiscal quarter ending June 30th, it's unclear if the potential Hamilton bump will be included in the announced figures. In any case, if you haven't seen it yet, Hamilton is now streaming on Disney Plus. And finally this week, as you may have heard me talk about in the past, I often sing as part of the Rockwell Sings Disney Nights at Rockwell Table and Stage in Los Feliz, California. Well, now my friend Pablo, who is a producer at Rockwell, is releasing his own Disney-inspired album called Swingin with the Mouse. Producer Pablo Rossell states, "For the last few years, the Swingin' with the Music series has performed exclusively for live audiences in the United States, including Feinstein's 54 Below in New York City and Rockwell Table and Stage in Los Angeles. I am so excited to expand the brand and share it with a broader audience, and to be making our debut recording featuring the magical music of The Mouse." End quote. Swingin' with the Mouse Volume 1 takes a deep dive into the Disney songbook, reimagining various songs to pay homage to the writers, composers, and musicians responsible for some of its greatest musical moments, including Randy Newman, Richard and Robert Sherman, Elton John, Stephen Schwartz, Alan Menken, Alan Silvestri, and many more. The project covers various aspects of the company, including, but not limited to, music from its animated films, Broadway shows, theme park attractions, and live-action films. The album features vocal performances by Keith David, known for Disney's Princess and the Frog and OWN's Greenleaf, Emma Hunton from Freeform's Good Trouble and Disney's Freaky Friday musical, Courtney Reed from Disney on Broadway's Aladdin and In the Heights, Garrett Clayton from Disney Channel's Teen Beach movie series and NBC's Hairspray Live, Dee Magno Hall from the all-new Mickey Mouse Club and Cartoon Network's Steven Universe, and Pablo Russell, the producer of the Swingin' with the Mouse series. The full album will see a digital release on July 17th, followed by a limited vinyl pressing release on August 17th. Fans can pre-order the vinyl edition beginning on July 17th. More information can be found at swinginmusic.com or on Instagram at swinginmouse. That's going to do it for the news this week, so let's get to this week's Twitter poll where I asked you folks, the Walt Disney World parks are reopening, but some attraction pre-shows are being cut to maintain social distancing. How do you feel about the change? Your options were no big deal, not happy, but I accept it, or I would cancel my trip. In last place, with only 16% of the votes, was I would cancel my trip. Then there was not happy, but I accept it with 41% of the votes, and 43% of you say it's no big deal. Do you agree with these results? Cast your vote in the Twitter poll every week by following Dizney CTC on Twitter. That's DIZNEYCTC on Twitter. And folks, if you haven't listened to this past Wednesday's episode, be sure to check it out as we began celebrating Disneyland's upcoming 65th anniversary, and this upcoming Wednesday, we continue the celebrating. The easiest way to make sure you don't miss any of the magic is by subscribing to Disney Coast to Coast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Wherever you search, don't forget it's Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast. And before we go, I want to give a shout out to Jill Adelsberger, who has become the newest member of the DCTC community. Jill is not only making it possible to produce more free episodes of Disney Coast to Coast, but she's also earning bonuses. If you'd like to become a DCTC community member, head on over to patreon.com/DisneyCTC to check it out. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.